Like and subscribe right now, or else this will be in your bed tonight. r/AskReddit by Planet Reddit. Have you ever adopted a good habit, only for it to backfire and have a negative effect on you? What was it? I got in the habit of growing my own vegetable garden each year. If it produced more than we could use, I'd share some produce with friends and neighbors. Unfortunately, some of them decided it was okay to raid the garden when no one was home and pick all the best veggies for themselves. Motion activated water sprayer and a $35 whiz camera. Dinner and a show. Nah. Mounted turret. Get a side of meat with those veggies. I had a reputation as an a-hole in my 20s. I worked myself and now people are always saying how nice I am. Now I feel like nobody takes me seriously and they think I'm a pushover. I had this issue. To fix it, become an a-hole again. Only at certain times. Make an example out of someone. Never mistake my kindness for weakness. Selective a-holery goes a long way. Prison rules. I stopped lying. Now I've lost my ability to make a perfect lie on the spot. This is me. Used to lie all the time when I was younger. Now if I even attempt to lie, it'll just sound stupid. Whenever you bump into an old acquaintance who says we should catch up, have you now become one of those people who's brave enough to just shut them down on the spot? Actually yes. I love to use the excuse my mom refused me. But now I'm 20. I was pretty competitive at swimming and I always pushed through fatigue and soreness. During college it got harder and harder in practice, but I figured I just needed to try more. After college I got a job and was constantly tired and all my joints hurt all the time, but I thought I was just being lazy and I needed to push through like before. Eventually I reached a breaking point and saw a psychiatrist and just sort of lost it, wanted to kill myself, everything hurt constantly and I had no energy, but I genuinely believed I was just being weak and should be able to muscle through. Ended up diagnosed with Ehlers-Danlos and turns out that all my struggling was not helpful at all and just hurt my joints more. Tendons can take months to fully heal. Overtraining often leads to tendon problems instead of muscles as they recover quicker. Resting is as important as exercise and nutrition. Yes, that makes sense. In my particular case I wasn't overtraining, I was just trying to keep up with my normal workouts. I just have loose ligaments that led to my joints constantly hyperextending. Eating better. Started with snacking less. Then cutting carbs, sugar out of my diet. Quickly spiraled out of control. And after a few months I couldn't eat a full meal without having a mental breakdown. Counted every single calorie. I would go days without eating and weighed myself obsessively. I often couldn't stand for more than a few minutes without feeling dizzy and nauseous. And I fully blacked out and fainted in public multiple times. Even when I was declared underweight by my doctor and she told me I seriously needed to put on pounds, I still genuinely thought I was fat and hated myself. Losing weight became an addiction. I've gained lbs since and I'm now what would be considered a healthy weight, but that mentality is still a constant shadow in the back of my mind, telling me I'm a disgusting piece of shit that deserves to starve. There are right and wrong ways to diet, and it's easy to fall down a dark path. Eating disorders are no joke. Yes, there definitely needs to be more education on this. People constantly try and change their diets with all good intentions and end up struggling. I think a to-go only restaurant that gives healthy and balanced meals would do good, especially if it was a non-profit type thing so the meals aren't like $30 a plate. I think you just described anorexia. Running. Got in great shape at first. Then starting dropping a little too much weight and looked like a skeleton. Weighed 165 at age 17, now I'm 120. I'm 19 and my dad still thinks I do drugs due to how thin I say. He worries about my habits in life. My sister legit just asked me how I stay thin when I can eat a Mongolian buffet and come home and down 2 DiGiorno pizzas. A couple hours later, I weigh 230 pounds. I'm 6 feet 4. And I had no answer for her. I'm 5 feet 10, 134 pounds and I am the exact same way. I'm skinny yet eat like a fat person. I spent a few weeks in Japan, so I got really used to taking off my shoes before entering a home. I was visiting a friend's house and I stepped on a Lego without my shoes on. I'm Canadian, always take shoes and socks off when I get home, it's the best. It is in fact the best. Damn, how'd you write this as a ghost? I spent a good time in the army, so being punctual is a huge thing. I had started working at a new company when I arrived to work 50 minutes early. Normally I sit in my car or nap, but that day was cold, so I went inside early. That's when I noticed my co-worker and boss engaging in sexual activities. Both men. Both married. Skipping to the end. I was let go because I didn't mesh with the company well. I never even said anything. I walked in, see the events and walked away, but apparently they must have thought I was gonna say something. Still confusing to this day. If they let you go because they thought you were going to say something, why didn't you use that as a bargaining chip to stay at your job? This isn't a movie. Every day of that dude's working life would be miserable if he took the blackmail route. Duck staying. Sue for unlawful termination. I've had IBS for 10 years. And was told by my doctor that changing my diet would really help. Especially adding lots of fiber, as it would regulate my bowels. So I did just that. Turns out my body thinks regulate means make everything worse. Didn't poop for 12 days. My body has never recovered. And I now can't eat loads of things because my bowels seem to think that eating healthy food is a cue to stop working. Would you like some spinach? No thanks. I want to shit this week. Had the same issues here. My stomach issues got so bad in 2015 I was in the hospital every month for half the years getting new tests. Celiac. Colonoscopy. MRI. etc. The doctor, my nurse mother, and an anesthesiologist stepdad told me to increase my fiber intake. Mind you, I was a bodybuilder in great health and eating a better diet than all of them. Turns out that extra fiber made it worse. There's scientific studies that showed the difference between fiber intake and constipation IMS. No fiber equals no IBS or constipation, high fiber equals no bowel movement. Look into the carnivore diet. Your stomach will feel better in a few weeks on it. I'm intolerant to meat. It makes me hurt really bad. I've had a really restricted diet for the last 10 years. I was told I'm intolerant to meat, lactose, gluten, yeast, mushrooms, strawberries, honey, peanuts and cocoa. I had to cut all of them out. So needless to say, I don't eat at restaurants because most of them won't cater to that level of restriction. I mainly just eat vegetables, as low fiber as I can make it. Rice, potatoes and fruits. I really notice the intolerances too. Especially meat and yeast. Hurts so much. I've tried for the last decade to create as balanced a diet as possible that helps my IBS, but never really got anywhere. Interesting because I don't have IBS-C and a higher fiber intake works well for me. IBS is one of those things that is truly individual. I ate 1,200 calories a day and lost weight, but I got an eating disorder. But now I eat 1,400 a day. I'm at a normal weight and I'm happy about it. No more eating disorder. I had a habit. Play it safe. I've never been out of line. I did what was asked of me. I behaved. Declined parties. etc. I missed out on everything and developed the personality of a dead leaf. It might be a good thing though. I don't know. I missed out on the fun. But never had any drama. For some, life is like a roller coaster with ups and downs. My life was a flat line. If you think that a flat line is better than ever having downs, let me tell you the average with ups and downs is way above that flat line. Yeah, this is me as well. In my high school years, I played it safe. And I've never had drama or adversity in my life. When I tell people I'm boring, I really mean that shit. Apparently to some, boring equals head on straight and not dealing with childish problems. I have my issues. But those issues are issues a normal 15-year-old would be dealing with. As of now, I'm 19 and I'm starting to come out of that shell. Going out more. Trying to socialize. Drink and have fun. It's still hard to adjust as I've been that good kid all my life, but I've been getting better. Hopefully I can get away from that mentality in my 20s. You can. Takes some time. I did. Just know that you potentially run the risk of making some mistakes later in life when it's less likely people will brush it off. Say drinking too much and throwing up all over a bathroom. When all your friends are 18, 19. Sure. When they are 27. Less likely. Used to go to the gym. Then worked at one. Developed a herniated disc in the lumbar. If you don't mind me asking. How? Is there some exercise I should avoid, or was this just an accident? You should avoid deadlifts with bad form. You should avoid squats with bad form. You should avoid pretty much anything with bad form. There isn't really an exercise that's going to hurt you if you do it correctly. In fact, the previously listed exercises will help your spine if you do them right. Best thing I can suggest is to learn how to do them the right way. Watch YouTube videos of professional strength athletes. Read about it all. Take videos of yourself so you can really see what you look like. It also might seem counterintuitive, but you might also want to stay clear of personal trainers. I've watched many of them teach some asinine stuff, and you can get that certification without ever stepping in a gym. Whenever I try to get properly hydrated, I have to pee like every hour. Salt? Can you elaborate? Do you mean there's too much salt or too little? I worked out a lot. Dropped a lot of weight. Full on 6-pack, I'd imagine under 15% body fat. Shredded. Went too far one day and tore a bunch of nerves from my shoulder. A non-repairable injury. I now have nearly no muscle on my right arm. I have no feeling on the surface of my right bicep. Have gotten back about 80% of my range of motion. Gained all the weight back. Sounds bad. Until you see other people with the same injury. Just worse off. Immobile arms. Complete atrophy. I got off lucky. The backfire was only temporary. Fortunately, I changed my habits to drink water much more often. Because of that, the first few weeks, I had to pee all the time. That goes away. Did you also get really thirsty and your throat get really dry after properly hydrating for a few days? The water is a shitty lubricant, lol. Ha. So I'm not the only one with that. Today I learned. Drinking canned peach syrup kinda helps, lol. It might be that we need more salt sugar. But I'm not sure. I don't know if it was good, but when I was really young I would count to 4 times, and it ended up playing a huge factor into developing OCD, where I have muscle pain from the tensing up my muscles in a pattern that is ran by the number 4, and it used to even keep me up at nights cause I couldn't stop counting and doing things in 4. I even have every stair and floor tile in my house and at school mapped out so I can walk in a way where I can count them to 4, and if I screw up while doing it then sometimes I end up stopping and doing it again till I get it right. Damn. 3. Same. Used to be a workaholic. Had to literally schedule time to rest. Eventually, I became a normal person who takes regular breaks. Unfortunately, those breaks tend to extend until the next break time. And now, I'm a procrastinator. I don't know if I necessarily adopted it, but I've always tried to be open emotionally. Many men are bottled up nightmares. But I felt that if I made my emotions known and present that it would help people understand what's happening and give a better sense of what I'm about. Yeah, no, it just turned me into an emotionally explosive nightmare whose vulnerability made him easy to walk all over. And no one wanted me around. I got ducked over hard. Now I just work to build walls and isolate myself. That's not going to help either. You have to find the healthy balance between isolation and violent expression. You can express emotions without becoming a huge beach anytime you're slighted in any way. And you can express emotion without making it incumbent on the people around you to fix them for you. Join our community Discord, link in description. Working out. Now that I'm an old man I can't find the time energy to work out nearly as much as I used to. So that sucks. And I'm getting out of shape. I decided to eat breakfast some while ago because I wasn't eating enough throughout the day. I ended up needing to use the toilet 2 hours into my school day. TBH, it wasn't even that bad after a few weeks. I would happily embrace my break. I ended up needing to use the toilet 2 hours into my school day. Valuable life lesson and skill to develop. Nothing better than crapping while on the job. You're getting paid to shit. I run off and on. But after a long break around 7 years ago, I started up again on a beautiful walking track near my then home. Path was 1.75 miles, so 3.5 round trip. And it was all concrete, but I'd never considered that a problem. After about 2 weeks running every other day, my ankles were in so much pain I could hardly make myself walk in the first few hours of the day. I'm not the sort to think of pain as debilitating, which is probably why I pushed through until it got so bad. And I worked a very physical job on my feet. On concrete. And it took months to heal. My knees also suffered, and I finally realized my bad shoes on concrete was what did me in. I won't run on any hard surface now. I worry I did some long team damage every time something flares up. I'm only in my early 30s. I spent my high school years running track and cross country and training by running on the sidewalks around town. 27 now, and I have patellofemoral syndrome, floating kneecap syndrome. Basically my knees will feel very strange until I snap my kneecap back into place. I have to wear tensor elastic braces to work out and stuff now. Yeah, I had to buy some braces as well. And boy, I was not prepared for how badly they smell. I started doing circuit training when I was 260 pounds, and while I lost a lot of weight, my knees are completely ducked from all the box jumps and squats. At 15, I was convinced I was fat, mainly because everyone, and I mean everyone, kept commenting on my weight. Too thin, too big, too this, too that, etc. So I started working out and restricting my food intake. And everything was fine until I started to pressure myself into thinking I wasn't enough, because once again, people kept commenting on my body. I was healthy until my habits became anxiety related and I developed an eating disorder and started using food as control. It became a battle I still continue to fight to this day, and I'm 22. It's been the most on and off battle of my whole ducking life. I finally went ED free for a solid 3 years until a sudden death in my family, which triggered me and caused me to have a horrible relapse. I'm a female. I stand about 5'6" and I weight a good 122 pounds now. I'm still skinny as duck because I have no muscles now. Gaining weight is next to impossible when you lose weight like a hot knife through butter. I'm slowly getting over that relapse again and finally started to teach people in my life to stop ducking commenting on my body and weight. I've also started to teach those same people that if they think it's okay to make negative comments about me, then it's okay for me to do the same to them, and they've shut up quite fast about it. Eating disorders are no joke. Shit's ruined my life and I am so exhausted fighting every damn day to win. Trying to be more social. I was that type of guy. Serious. But not grumpy. Reacts only with little. Warm smiles. Low. But smooth voice. Usually not afraid of situations. People. And could stand up for myself. And, most of all, not particularly fond of parties. Or giant events. Although I would sometimes attend to them. Went through some turbulent moments in life. Felt like I had no friends. Tried to force myself into a group. I have noticed through the past years that I have slowly acquired the personality of a Nutella YouTuber. Overreactive. Victimizing. And with a voice comparable to Shaggy. I'm trying to find out what went wrong. And how to correct myself now. Another side here. Went from cheerful, eager to please guy to a serious, mute one during high school. Not bottling up emotion. Repeatedly had outbursts in online group chats and lost a lot of my long-term online friends. Were they outbursts caused by bottling up emotions until it all came flooding out though? Dealing with and properly directing emotions is usually better than bottling. I hope you find something that works for you. Yes. Lost weight the healthy way via diet and exercise. Got down to what I consider a perfect weight for my build and height. 6 feet 1 inches. 180 pounds lean and strong. Then I got cancer and lost another 25 pounds just from being so sick. I'm healthy now and have gained some of the weight back. But I would have skipped calorie cutting initially had I known about the cancer. Saving myself for marriage. Rape. Rape doesn't count. You didn't do it. It was done to you. Your purity isn't stained. And you're not any less or worse of a person because of it. This Thank you for your kind words. Was very socially awkward and was feeling numb, useless and generally depressed a lot of years back. I decided to do something about it and try to do something about by going out, meeting people, having fun, etc. But the trouble was I felt very awkward going to bars, clubs alone, as I couldn't talk to people face to face. Anyway, I came across a local swingers group which seemed perfect. It was a members only club. It had an online forum to talk to others before meeting. Weekday evenings were very quiet so you could socialize with other members in peace. And of course it had the benefit of filling certain needs if desired, although I personally didn't partake much. I found it didn't do much for me. Anyway, after a while people started realizing I was a member and became very judgmental to the point I had to stop going. Shame, really, it got me out of a dark place. How many people did you meet up close and personal in your members only club? Was a couple of times people were just going at it and I was asked if I'd like to join in. Those were the least appealing to me. Met this one couple through the forum who I got quite friendly with. We met at the club a few times and once at their place. I don't wanna say on here the details as this thread isn't marked NSFW, but I honestly won't ever forget the times I met up with them. I started working out and playing sports. Now I suffer from an addiction to it. Care too much. I easily get affected and just cry. Being a clean freak as a kid. Everyone thought it was great at first. A clean toddler. Never dirty. But that surely changed once I began washing my hands so much and for so long that it began ripping my skin. Calorie counting and food logging. I used to use food as a coping mechanism and overate, so I started at the suggestion of my therapist at the time. Eventually I wouldn't allow for more than 170 calories per meal and took pride in how short my food log would be for a day. I don't log anymore. But I still know the number of calories in most foods and it makes it really difficult to enjoy eating. RIP love of food and cooking. Long story short, I was nice to someone who I knew had feelings for me from the get-go, but couldn't be with them. Became acquainted. She fell hard for me over time. And when she finally came to the same conclusion that I did, she was already too deep in love with me. She became heartbroken and left my life. The guilt of it has haunted me for a long time. Not because I felt I led her on, but because I didn't try to soothe her sooner. The truth is, I fell for her too. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for 3 videos a day.